Two generations, one destination, and that destination is where you want to be right now. And as usual, we're brought to you by
Diet Pepsi.
and Maxwell House Coffee.
Our two favorite drinks.
These are a few of my favorite things. But today we're going to be a little bit more serious than usual. And we're going to delve into, I want the Facebook universe to discover, because I remember last time you said, oh, I worked Black Friday and I survived it and that was great. But you have a very, very interesting academic pursuit. So I want you to tell the world what you do academically and where that's taken you up to now.
Well, I'm currently in a bachelor's of education in teaching English as a second language, and I've had some summer jobs in my field to get that experience, and I worked in Italy and Taiwan for the last 2 summers, so I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, it's always a juggle of working, as I said, the Black Friday retail life and the student life, but hopefully it'll all come together, and as I work with more age groups, like adults, which is kind of the target group I want to work with, elementary and high school students, I'll figure out what group suits me best, what kind of environment suits me best, and hey, what country suits me best, and I'll take it from there. I actually, strangers of Facebook, I sent in an application to something in Japan this summer, and I'm supposed to hear an answer if I get an interview by January 15th, so wish me luck.
And that's coming soon. Now, Three Dog Nights, change the subject, did a very famous song a few years ago called I've Never Been to Spain, but you have. So tell the good people out there about that.
So, in 2016, I was lucky enough to be chosen by my university. Well, I applied, but to be one of the students chosen to study the Spanish language in Spain, in Salamanca, Spain specifically. And I came in literally knowing like, hola, adios, gracias, yo puedo actualmente hablar un poco en español y hacer las conversaciones con la gente, así que estoy muy afortunado para hacer esta experiencia.
Definitivamente. That's what all the Spanish I know. So how about you? Shoot a question my way.
Okay, what was it like being in law school?
It was awesome. Very, very interesting. It wasn't as tough as I thought it would be. I took it pretty zen. And, the subject matter, half of it was like dry as dust. Really, really unbearable. But the stuff that I loved, I've been into, and I really, really enjoyed it. Good experience. And it was fun because I went out of town. I went to a place, a small town, Quebec, called Sherbrooke. And it was the first time that I really lived in French for the first time. So that was a blast. And it was also a lot of fun because I was like the Jackie Robinson of my law school class, because they'd never met an English person or a Jewish person. So I played like a real, diplomatic ambassadorial role, and it worked both ways. I'd come home on the weekends and I'd tell people about, how cool it is living in French, and as Quebecois people are, etc. And then I'd have like Quebecois people say to me, wow, can you come to my hometown? And I'd say, why? Well, my father hates Jews.
Oh my God.
But you're so nice. I'll bet if you met him, you'd learn to like Jews. And that was a real compliment.
Did you accept any of those offers?
No, never came up. What can I tell you? Just not enough time, right?
Mm-hmm. So how did living in Sherbrooke for that time influence your passion for French culture, French music, and all that?
Well, it was a blast because you're totally immersed in it.
Mm-hmm.
But truth be told, the radio station I listened to was an English radio station in Sherbrooke. It's like the only English station there. And it played like real 80s rock. Things like, Heat of the Moment and, Helen Parsons Project. But it made me totally fall in love with, the French language and living in French. I remember, it was just incredible.
Mm-hmm. I have a hot take question.
Go for it.
What do you think of, this might get you in hot water depending on what your answer is.
No, I want to get in hot water. I want to be in scalding, boiling water like a lobster.
So, recently, Lego wanted to design an action plan to improve the usage of French in Quebec.
Oh, absolutely.
And do you agree with his opinion that French is being still undervalued, or do you think that he's going too far, or where do you stand on it?
The bottom line is give the people what they want. It goes without saying that when you're in Montreal, you hear less and less French every day. Parts of town where you'd only hear French before, you hardly hear French now. English, it's incredible. Downtown, big office buildings, all you hear is English. But by the same token, that's what people want. Young Francophones are more bilingual than ever before. You won't hear a Francophone use a sentence without using the word cool, bro, c'est sharp, t'es nice, t'es sweet. These are all the words that I use, But seriously speaking, you can't, it's very hard to force English, to force French on a population that is more and more open to English. Sure, you want to preserve the language and preserve the culture, but you can't deny the reality of the fact that we're a group of 7 million in North America. We live in a world without boundaries now, and English is a dominant language. And anyone who thinks we're going to go back to, pure French is just dreaming in Technicolor. We got to live with bonjour, hi, and deal with those consequences.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then that's my whole career goal, is to teach people English.
Oh, absolutely. So
I'm not helping.
No, it's actually good. You're in a very fertile market for that, because as time goes on, the demand will just increase.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when you teach English as a second language, you can teach in Montreal, Toronto, Tokyo, or Timbuktu. There's always a demand for it.
That's pretty cool.
Amen. So I think that was a very good session, very serious. But there's one thing we forgot to tell people, and that's that everything we do is unscripted, unplanned, and totally spontaneous.
Nice.
Oh,